to Horror Hour.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get you.
Here's Johnny.
Hello and welcome to Horror Hour, a place we discuss, we debate, we disagree on all things horror when George is here. I'm one of the co-hosts, Yutaka. Hello. And today I'm excited because I am joined with Nick from NickSaysBoo. How are you?
Living the dream. I feel like living the dream is like what people tell you when they're like, my life is fucking miserable. They don't want to go into detail. Living the dream.
Meanwhile, we're like, oh, sad. But anyway,
this is a fucking therapy hour.
Yes. I don't get paid. That's rude. Anyways, but more importantly, we are here. I should say, spoilers. We're going to talk Barbarian, and we're just going to get all into it. But seriously, if you haven't seen it, don't watch this video yet. Go see it. Go in blind because it's fucking fantastic.
Blind, like you're cosplaying as Stevie Wonder. No, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's true. It makes the movie experience that much better. So just telling you that right now. But that's your warning. You keep watching. That's on you. I appreciate it, but that's on you. So without further ado, let's talk Barbarian. So yeah, you had fun since you couldn't react. So tell me what that's all like.
Well, so I was going to. I feel like this movie though came out of nowhere because I did not hear about this movie up until like maybe a week prior to it coming out. But yeah, everyone was saying that there was a huge twist in it, and I mean, yeah, there's multiple twists though, so I don't know which specific twist people were talking about. But they were just saying, don't react to it, go and see it now. And since I'm constantly having to wait for things to come out on streaming, I just figured I'd give myself a little treat, and a treat it was. Went on a Saturday, saw it, fell in love with it, and then have been trying to get everybody else to go and see it, and then went and saw it again the next day and brought 2 other people to see it.
Disney just needs to put you on the payroll at that point.
Please help me, I'm poor. Please.
But it is. I can't wait to see it again, and I'm happy I saw it in theaters as well because yes, there are so many twists. But also it was fun to see something new, refreshing, and it's still odd to think about the writer directors from that. If you ever saw the show, The Whitest Kids You Know, probably not. But
I know what it is.
And so it's really, to me, I'm like, that's funny, but I'm like, this is jacked up. I go, that's it. And I think Justin Long is going to continually be typecast in these roles now, which is fine. I mean, and yeah. And I totally
think what else he's even been in other than, so like horror wise, he's done Jeepers Creepers, he's done Tusk.
Oh, but see, he was also a dick in that.
See, I've not watched Tusk.
Okay.
From start to finish. I've watched a reaction of Tusk, and that was enough for me. Apparently they're making another one, but I mean, I don't know. I think he does pretty good in horror.
He does.
I can't think of off the top of my head anything other than Dodgeball that he's done outside of horror.
He's just not that into you. It's a romantic comedy.
See, and normally I would like that. See, let me write this down. But I do like Justin Long.
That's actually a really good film. Huge cast. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, he typically has been playing more of like this douchey character in horror films. And so it's very interesting. There's another one that came out. I can't remember the name of it. It's got vampires in it, but it was really bad, apparently. So I was like, I don't need to see
The Invitation, I think. Something
like that. I think I think theirs was called that too.
I think there's 2 vampire movies called The Invitation.
That's silly. I mean, both were bad, but anyways. So we've got that, and then we've got Bill Skarsgaard, who I now totally get the whole, like, wow.
I I didn't. So like, other than I think I said to you before I went and I saw it, I didn't know who was even in the movie, other than I thought Justin Long might have been in it.
Mm-hmm.
So then when fucking Pennywise opens the door, I'm like, he's the fucking killer. He's the killer. And yeah, I like it, even when I had went the past Sunday with my two friends to see it, all of us sort of agreed when we walked out. I'm like, I never thought that man was like charming, or not that I ever thought he was like ugly, but like I saw him as Pennywise with the big ass eyes. And yeah, he could have strangled me in my sleep if he wanted in that movie. This movie, not it, not it.
But yeah, I was really shocked. And I loved that tension between his character and, let me get her name real quick, Georgina Campbell's Tess. Like, that tension between the two was so, like, they built that up really good. And I agree. I thought he was going to be the killer. I was like, yeah.
So thankfully we mentioned that we were going to be getting into spoilers, because this is that something that we mentioned earlier is that the first part of the film is, at least in our opinion, kind of the strongest part of the film.
Yes, absolutely.
The whole film is good, but the first half with Bill Skarsgård's character is the strongest. But what I wanted to talk about is when I first went and I saw it, I kept thinking in my head, the name of this movie should be Subversion, because it seems like that is the primary thing that they were trying to do, is to make you think that it was going to go one way and then pull the rug out from under you. And I feel like they really excelled with the initial meeting of those two characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I had written it down. So I was like, so the first thing is where is his car?
Oh,
because she parks her car in front, and then when Justin Long pulls up later on in the movie, his car is in the front. But at no point do they show you where his Keith's car is.
Not technically, he could have Ubered.
I mean, I suppose that's true. But I feel like that was supposed to add to it, because like she thinks that it's empty, and the surprise is that the house is not empty when you see the light turn on, because like she does get out of the car and look around.
True.
Which I think was the second sort of thing where they tried to confuse you, because like they don't tell you right away that she's in Detroit. And then when she gets up to the door and nobody answers and she can't get in, and then she turns around and you see that everything on the street is dark, but you don't know what she's looking at. So I was just like, is it a cult? Like, where is she being watched from all of these houses? So that was a really cool subversion. Let's see. But maybe this is the true crime aficionado in me, as I'm sitting in the theater watching. And thankfully, the first time I saw it, there was only one other person in the theater, so I was basically able to sit there and talk to myself like I was at home.
Oh my god, that's hilarious!
And so he invites her in the house, and I was like, don't go in the house, don't go in the house. So she goes in the house, and then she says, "Yeah, I got that. Like, is it the right dates?" But she shows him the dates. She doesn't allow him to say what the dates are. So I was like, that's your first mistake. And then when she gets in there and she goes to go to the bathroom, and he's like, I have to find my phone. And I was like, even before it happened, I was like, he's going to go and doctor some sort of an image really quickly to put those dates on her, because when she comes out of the bathroom, he shows the phone. He doesn't give her, like, she's holding the phone as he's holding it, and she's not able to scroll. And she's like, oh yeah, that's right. And I was like, he's lying. Then with the tea, I was like, he's going to drug her.
I totally thought that. Yes.
But then she says, no, I'm not about the tea. But then when she comes out of the bathroom and he's sitting there with the fucking wine glasses, I was like, he's going to kill her. But he's like, oh, I'm going to be the nice guy. I know that you want to, like, you didn't want the tea because you didn't see me make it. But here's this wine that's open. I was like, you could have brought the fucking wine. It could have already been pre-drugged. So that was another subversion. And then when they were putting on the duvet cover, when he was like, come closer, I 100% thought he was going to throw that over her. And then what else? Then the convention in town, but he never actually says what the convention is. And I thought that was him trying to prevent her from continuing to try and find a hotel.
Okay,
and then
I could see that.
The last one that popped into my head was, when she said, why is it always women who get their heart ripped out? And then he says, sometimes women can do the ripping. So by that point, I knew that they kept trying to confuse us. So I was like, she's the killer. But no, they just could continue doing this the whole movie.
You kept going back and forth that entire time. That's hilarious. I mean, I can't say I was that into it. Damn, here I am. Like, I'm just like, I mean, granted, yes. If I were her, I'd probably still stay, only because that's a lot of money. I'm just throwing it out there. And he did give her the bedroom, so I mean, even though, but that duvet cover thing, though, that was super cute. I'm sorry, I was like, oh, but
it was super cute. I like, and I'm like, y'all got fresh sheets. You need to dirty the sheets now. We've spent 15 minutes building up this relationship.
And then, honestly, though, yeah, I didn't think that into it. Although I was very kind of, I mean, I will give her credit though, very smart. She took photo of his driver's license. The only thing is, she didn't send it to anybody. She didn't tell anybody. Like, that was the other thing. I'm like, okay, well, good for you. What are you going to do with that?
So the character of Tess, like, this is a very well-written movie, and like, it's a smart movie, but that's not to say that simply because it's a smart movie that the characters
don't do dumb things.
Right. Like, she does occasionally do some dumb shit. Like when she goes back into the fucking basement.
That was dumb.
Why? I'm not trying to save people. But plus, I don't know you. And you didn't dick me down yet. Like, no. You have not provided me enough other than fresh sheets to save your life. No. But she does occasionally make some dumb decisions. You know, she was so enamored that she didn't, when she gets into the bed to go to sleep, like, she doesn't lock the door at first. I was like,
yep.
No. But yeah, she should have told somebody about what was going on. She should have sent a picture. But I will say another little subversion. The first moment that I realized whatever's going on, whatever the plot of this movie is, it's not either one of them, was when she gets up to go and she sees him sleeping on the couch, and you see the door close behind her from down the hallway. I was like, there's something else. There's something else. There's a spirit in this house.
I thought that was very interesting too, though. I mean, it's a trope, but him having his nightmare and all that, I'm like, okay, all right. But then
I feel like I didn't get what that was supposed to be.
I don't think it was I think it was just there to kind of, again, confuse you. I don't think anything of it. I mean, my first thought though is then she's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go back to sleep. I'm like, I would be wide awake. Maybe take a knife with you to bed. You know, I don't know.
Shit, I would. I stay strapped.
But I enjoyed that, and I liked that little, you know, seeing that. But I will tell you, as a person though, why would you go just inspect a basement?
Never.
Absolutely not.
I would have, like, how she used the door or the chair to prop open the door, it would have been the opposite the entire time I would have been in that house, and the door would have been wedged shut.
Like,
no. And
then, you know, we'll just go into it because she gets trapped down there, and so she decides, well, I'm down here, I'm going to start looking into things. As soon as she pulled that little, like, that rope that released, like, the trap door, nope.
Here, I have a question for you, because I asked both my friends this. If you were in this situation, or any sort of situation where you randomly come upon a rope hanging out of a wall, and I'm not saying like this is like a writing thing, but would your instinct be to pull on the rope? Like, I wouldn't even think to pull on the rope. So I just thought that, I was like, why is she pulling on that? Because both her and Justin Long do that.
Yeah, I can't say I would. No, absolutely not.
Like, I wouldn't even look at that and think like, that's something I could pull on.
I've seen too many movies that's like a bad, that immediately, that would tell me I need to get the fuck out of the basement. That immediately, if I saw that, no, because there should be no reason that you've got this rope that's going into the wall just sitting there. Nope.
Yeah, that
absolutely
that would
not.
the first kind of dumb decision that she makes. Like I acknowledge the whole nope comment that she makes, which, you know, is supposed to speak to the audience. Like, I get that because, like, the second time I watched it, we actually had a rowdy, well, not a rowdy audience, but we had, you know, a reactionary audience, and they all laughed when she said that. But I'm like, look, okay, I can understand maybe going down into the basement, which also, I feel like that was another subversion. She can't find the toilet paper, and she happens to open the basement door, and it's right there at the bottom of the stairs. I was like, use your brain. But the second that she found that door, I would have broken the window and climbed out. I would not have sat there and waited. Also, I would never go anywhere without my phone.
I was so like, because my first thought was the whole window is you could easily fit. She could have moved one of the things over, climbed, got the hell out. And it's her fault. Well, actually, I forgot, why did Keith go into the basement? Oh, no, because he wanted to inspect. Oh, right. Yeah, see, that's when I was like, you're dumb. I'm not following your ass.
So that's like the one part that I didn't quite grasp. I didn't know whether or not the mother grabbed him and pulled him down into like the second section. Because you didn't hear anything and he was only down there for quote unquote 30 seconds. So I didn't understand. I'm like, okay, why did she have to go that far down into these tunnels to find him?
That's true.
So I'm assuming she must have like came up and grabbed him or something. I don't know.
Well, and it was, like you said, no sound, none of that. So you're like, I was nervous. And of course, so when she stumbles across Keith and he won't let her backtrack, which if they would have, they possibly could have lived because the mother came up from behind him.
Right. I think he just got lost.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair. But then again, how did he get away from mother?
Well, because my interpretation is because he was on the ground and he went down there and didn't have a flashlight. I'm assuming.
Well, that was dumb.
Yeah. Either she grabbed him and pulled him down there, or at some point within that time frame, he noticed that there was a second door and then maybe fell down the stairs or something, because he makes the comment like, someone bit me. Like, he doesn't say she bit me, or there's a woman down here, something, or someone else is down here and they bit me. And the fact that he was on the ground, I thought that he was just down there without a light, so he got turned around and was thinking that the direction that she came from was the opposite direction of the one that he needed to go.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. He was disoriented. Ooh, his death though. Broke my heart a little.
Yeah, he was so cute in this movie. He's not cute anymore. I'd be curious what happened to his body, though. Like,
to be honest,
do they eat him?
That's what I feel like. Like, yeah.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I would have to go with that. So I guess before we talk about all of that, let's talk about Justin Long's character, because okay, I fully believe people out there are obviously like that. The whole car ride scenario, like him, it shouldn't be comical, but the way that was played off, I was laughing.
His character is interesting because it's obviously a despicable character.
Yes.
But the way, like, his performance and the way that they wrote the character, it's still a character. And this is something that I kind of gripe on a lot with unlikable characters in movies, is you can have an unlikable character, but like, think of like the Friday the 13th remake, the character of Trent.
Oh, yeah.
He's an unlikable character that is so grating when they're on the screen that you don't want to continue watching.
Yes.
And I feel like that is something that hinders the movie. Like, you can have a shitty character, but if they're so shitty to the point that you don't want to continue watching the movie, that's an issue. for the audience. Whereas in Barbarian,
That's
he's
fair.
a despicable character, but it like you don't want to stop watching him.
He was
because he
charismatic.
keeps doing this, right?
Yeah.
He keeps doing this funny shit. I
I
it
mean,
was-
he kept digging himself a bigger hole. So, like, I mean, essentially, he was just torpedoing his career, his life, and he deserved it because, obviously, again, he was a despicable person.
But they kind of they it's another subversion because they kind of play on your expectations with the way that they present him by seeing it from his perspective versus seeing it from like his PR team or whatever when they're calling him. So you kind of start to, at least I did, I start to wonder, like, is this a scenario that he didn't actually do it?
You know,
Like, is he being falsely accused?
I didn't think that because of the way his character acted. As soon as he was like, well, let me just talk to her, I'm like, and the way he was like arguing with his PR team, I'm like, something's not right. I was like, I don't know. And honestly, he came off like, yes, he was fun to see on screen, but he just had this like he just came off like, dude, bro, like there was just something about him that I just was already unsettling, which to me, like, I was like, red flag, nope. I was like, you didn't even care about the supposed victim. You cared more that your series was going to be canceled. Like, that's when I was like, oh,
That's true. That's true. I feel like I didn't clock the first indication to me of who he actually was was the second that he picks up the phone call from the friend and calls him a faggot. I was like, oh, maybe maybe he's a little bit of a douche. But then when he gives that, like when the friend is at the bar, it's like, what actually happened? And he's like, oh, you know, she said no at first. And I'm in the theater. I was like, yeah, that's assault.
I was so dumb. And like his friends, like, I'm like, I would have been like, this conversation's over, get the hell out. Like, I don't want to, like, that was, I mean, and I guess the audience needed that to know that he was an awful person, but
Right.
that like just confirmed everything. I was like, yeah, no. Ooh.
And and then if I'm trying to remember exactly, because I know that he gets home and he's drunk and he calls the girl. But I think it was, I don't think it was until the next morning where I feel like they really started to pepper in more and more of his like shitty qualities. Like when he finds the laptop, I feel like this is such a small thing, and he finds the laptop and he sees her name and then he just throws it.
That was such a dick thing to do. Oh my God.
But he made it like, I mean, he's a stupid idiot person, but like he made another stupid decision. Like you get there and you pick up the phone to call the realtor person saying that you think that there's somebody staying in your house. You've found clothes, you've found toiletries, there's a car parked in the front, and when you walked in, the light to the basement was on with the door propped open, and at no point over the course of the next 24 hours did you open the fucking door to the basement to see if there was somebody down there.
Mm-hmm.
So he deserved that.
Yes. Well, also, what an again, this was, I found to be very humorous, and I enjoyed this. The fact that he was like, oh my God, I can get more square footage as he was discovering things. I was just like, oh my God.
I was
like,
dying the whole time.
Such an asshole.
It was like he was in a different movie than he was actually in. Like opens the door to this, there's a camera, there's this grotesque bed, there's a shit bucket, and he completely ignores all of it and he's just measuring.
I kind of was like, ooh, when he sat on the bed, I was like, what? Ew. But it was all of that. And then when he finds the next corridor and he sees the stairs, he's like, oh my God. And he keeps going.
So this movie obviously there's a lot of camp to it.
Yes.
But it's not like total camp. It's camp that I feel like the second half of the movie, once they introduce Justin Long, that's when the camp starts to really pick up.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot, you know, especially with this whole the measuring tape thing. So like one of the one friend that I went with, like he does like construction and stuff like that, and we both looked at each other and he's like, the fact that the measuring tape, how he takes the little metal part and he'll put it on the edge, and he's like, no fucking way. He's like, anybody has ever used a measuring tape knows that that does not to stick to anything. And he's like, and he's going down this long winding staircase and it's just a never ending tape measure. I was like, they knew what they were doing. I'd be curious to know from like a storytelling screenwriting perspective, if like when the camp was thrown in there, whether or not that was in the actual script phase, or if they were like, you know, the first half we're going to play it very straightforward, and then slowly veer into camp a little bit to like keep it fresh and to keep you on your toes, considering it all seems to be about subversion. Because like I feel like that's what I liked about this movie is I would break this movie up into 3 parts.
Yes.
And the first part feels more like a serial killery, Home Alone, is he or isn't he a bad guy, trying to, you know, sweet talk the girl. And then the second half, I don't even know like what you would consider the Justin Long part. But the third half is just
batshit insane. I don't
fucking crazy.
I mean, well, and they give you that backstory with Richard Brake's character, who is also a despicable human being, which I did find very interesting. That throughout, like, you see the house in different eras, and I just thought that was very interesting that the one bedroom never existed at a certain point. That was just an entire wall that led into the basement. There was no room there. I thought that was very interesting. There was no door.
I didn't even catch that.
I was just like, huh. Because he also said he would never leave. But then it was like, one thing I thought though, I was like, well, then he goes into the basement. That's cool. He's clearly bunkered down there. What did people think happened? Like, who took over the house? Like, how did, like, that was very, like, in the back of my mind, I thought about it. I was like, but I'll forget about it. But then when I saw, I was like, well, somebody had to do construction. What the fuck? But yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I will say that the one section of the movie that I wanted a little bit more was the flashbacks to his character, because we really don't know exactly what he was doing aside from what the one character says that he thought was going on down there. I mean, and to your point, yeah, I mean, if they were, you know, realtors or whoever come in and they're listing this home on the market and they would have inspected the home, like, for me to think that you have AJ goes down there, Tess goes down there, and both are immediately drawn to this rope in the wall. You're telling me that nobody else that's ever been in this house did the same thing? Like realtors, nothing. I don't know how, was he living in the basement off of her titty milk? What?
That was a very interesting thing. That was the only thing I could think of, because, well, I wouldn't say he was also living. He looked decrepit. Like, that whole room was gross as well. So kudos to them for doing all of that. But I don't know. I mean, I found it to be very, like, it was the fact also that he kept going when he saw the cages. Like, at that, I was just like, I was like, even though you're an awful human being, but I'm like, stop making stupid decisions. Like, all of them at that point. Now, she got captured, yes, but whoa. And I guess she was living off the titty milk, which
yeah, I don't know how long she was supposed to have been down there.
Like, it was a good portion of time. I also, oh my God, that was so gross. Just the room. I can hear my stomach growling. That's funny. But the room where, with that lighting and that VHS that continually was playing, that was also super creepy. And, no.
I saw people talking about, this seems to be like a common thing where, like, so you have X where you had, you know, the old people like with Pearl and everything, and now you have the mother in this movie, and it seems to be, there was something else that recently came out, I can't think of it, but like we're sort of like in a, I don't know if I'd call it an era, but there's a trend right now going on where it's scary old people. And I've seen people talking about like, you know, that it's ageist and it's, you know, it's making fun of old people. And to an extent, like I could agree a little bit, but I'm all like specifically something like this movie. Find me an old person that looks like that. She looks like a fucking monster.
Well, and that was the thing. Like part of it, obviously, that they said that it was just like incest after incest, and like clearly she had deformities.
Yeah, she was. It was very Hills Have Eyes.
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I guess she kept having baby. Like I was confused if she, because I mean, obviously it's called the mother, so she was having babies, or at a certain point, I guess she was just anybody who came into the house. Or I think the one guy did say she would come out at night. She wouldn't go so far, but she would go to a certain point. So I guess she was kidnapping people.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. And like it seemed like she was also afraid of the dad. Because when Justin Long was outside the room and she approaches, all of a sudden she backs away.
Yes.
So I thought that was pretty interesting too. I feel like I don't know if they would be able to do it in a way like that is as effective as the first one, but I feel like that whole part of the story is ripe for a sequel.
I would like to know more about it. There was that backstory that I don't think we got. I also enjoyed the part where, and this was very, like, they did that very well, where Tess finally, so Tess breaks out and she makes it to a gas station and she's trying to tell the police. Like, it was frustrating, but I was like, I sadly see that happening. And then, of course, when the cops get there, they go back, they inspect, and they're like, nothing threw them off. I'm like, come on now, people.
I thought that was going to be another subversion where I was like, are they in on it? Are the cops doing something? Because like when they get back in the car right before they drive away, and she's like, you're not going to do anything, the white cop in the car looks at her and gives her like this like mean look, but there's like a subtle change in the score, and it becomes like very foreboding. And I'm like, are the cops in on it? Are they like feeding people to her? Or do they genuinely think like she's a homeless crackhead or whatever they call her, and they're trying to like lure people to this house to like get them killed, to like clean up the streets or something like that? That's where I figured they were going with that.
Very Descent 2 vibes with that. If you've seen that, I'm not sure.
I have.
Okay. But I could see that. Okay. Interesting. I didn't pick up on that. Ooh.
Is what did you say the name of the actor was that played the dad?
Richard Brake.
Is that the guy? Was he in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Halloween 2?
Fuck.
No. I don't know. I know he's been in a couple of Rob Zombie films.
Let me look this up, because I'm fairly certain in Halloween 2 he's the guy that gets his head cut off in the van after they hit the cow.
I don't think that was interesting. I know he was in he was in 31. You're right. He was in Halloween 2. Okay, maybe that's him.
I didn't even clock this until maybe yesterday, but that horror convention that I was just at, he was there. Because I saw him and I walked by him and I looked at my mom and I was like, fuck. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, haven't you seen Halloween 2? And I was like, when he gets in the van accident and he wakes up and realizes he's stuck, he just says the F word like 30 times in a row. So I wanted to like get his autograph and be like, can you just sign it? Fuck.
That's awesome. He was a villain in another film that I really enjoyed, Bingo Hell. So he plays a evil old man very well.
Was that a spinoff of the Golden Girls?
Bingo Hell.
Mm-hmm. The horror movie version.
Look, I love that film. Don't you come for that film.
I've never even heard of that film.
Oh.
Bingo Hell. Let me write this down.
I mean,
I'll watch Bingo Hell if you watch Zombievers.
I've already seen Zombievers. Oh, good. I love it.
Good.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
I love it so much.
Oh, it's so bad, it's so good. It's so camp. We'll get back to that then. But yeah, Richard Brake, he really does. He's a great character actor. I will say though, also, feeling like he was gonna be caught again. He barely looks like he can move. He somehow has survived this entire time. And now, because I guess this is probably the first time he's ever seen anybody, he offs himself. I honestly thought he was going to shoot Justin Long.
So I didn't pick up on the first viewing. The second viewing, he doesn't go for the gun until Justin Long says that the police are on their way.
Oh, okay. See, I need to watch this. I need to go see this again.
It's definitely something. There's a bunch of stuff that I picked up on the second viewing that I didn't catch on the first. But yeah, it wasn't until he mentions the police.
Which that would make sense. I mean, which I feel like that dude's already been in a prison, but he was also a despicable person, so I was happy he died. I will say the part where this gets like the ending was not as strong as the beginning of the film. Granted, we do get to see, in my opinion, this is where you truly see how despicable of a person Justin Long is. But then also, I love the fact that the homeless man takes them in. She never comes past. And I was like, as soon as he said this, I'm like, I already know what's going to happen at this point. But I still laughed and I loved it. Like, it was the fact she was beating him with his own arm. I was like, that's amazing.
She can't get in here as she bursts through the fucking wall.
She was like the Kool-Aid man. I was here for it.
Yeah, I need a oh yeah edit of her coming through the wall.
Like it was so good, and I was like, I can't be mad because I was laughing, and then his death, and then of course, when they go up the water tower, and I could not. I was like, damn. I was like, I hope your ass dies when he tosses. Which, to be fair though, as well, I will say that was smart. Because she only
tossing her off.
Well, I mean, he thought that was because he knew she was going to go after the mom was going to save Tess. So it was smart in a sense. It didn't work to his advantage because the one thing, the mom is this, which they don't actually explain how she became like this super mutant. But
yeah, I feel like that's the part where there is a complete
plot hole.
They completely let go of realism at that point. The second that after she gets smashed against the house with the car and she comes back out with her and she's gone, I was like, oh, so she's like superhuman. I was like, now we're in this movie. Okay.
Yeah. Which also I did mean to kudos for when she did that, like running into the house, like, but the fact like that woman was either just too nice. The fact that she would try and go save that man, she doesn't know him. And on top of that, I'm like, you already saw one man get killed. Sorry to this man, but bye.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone down there the first time, and I definitely wouldn't have gone down there the second time after his ass shot me.
Exactly.
Like, I will say that again, I know I'm going to keep talking about the subversion because I feel like that is just what this movie is. But that was something that I definitely saw coming. Mm-hmm. As soon as she went back in there and he was running around with the gun, I was like, he's going to shoot her. And then he shoots her, but then they subverted it by she didn't die.
And he was actually like, he trying to save her. Like that caught me off guard. I didn't expect him to do that. I would have just figured, bye. Like same thing. I just figured he'd say, kind of do, nobody knows you're down here. And just like, but he didn't. And obviously it was that part there where he wants to redeem himself because he wants to feel like he's a good person when truly he's trash. But of course, then we see his true, like, I don't like his behavior, just him, his personality when he tossed her off the water tower.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to get like technical in the brain. So I know I keep mentioning subversion. So, but breaking the movie.
I'm gonna put a counter. No.
Right. You should. So
I'm not editing all that.
Breaking the movie into 3 parts. The first part is, the way that I interpret it, is situational.
Okay.
Whereas it's situational subversion, whereas the second part with Justin Long is character subversion. So how I said, like, while you were able to kind of clock a little bit more of his personality based on the phone call in the car, I was like, I feel like they want us to think that he actually did whatever this is, and then they're going to pull the rug out and they're going to say that he didn't. But they continue doing that with him over and over and over, because he has the conversation with the homeless guy where he says, I don't know if I'm a good person who made a bad mistake or I'm just a bad person. And I was like, okay, so he's like, he maybe, I mean, I'm not excusing what he did.
Oh yeah, no.
But like, you know, we do talk about rehabilitation and giving people second chances. So I'm like, maybe they are trying to, you know, go, maybe he's not a complete shit person and he did something really horrible, but there's still a chance for him to redeem himself. No, because then he throws her off the water tower. And then when he goes back down there, then he lies to her. And he's like, I tried to catch you. You fell in my way. He grabbed her by the hair.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this motherfucker, I was going to be so mad if he survived. I at that point, I was like, something better fucking happen. And then, of course, the way he gets killed, I was like, okay. Even though people are
gnarly.
Yes. But now I people are like, oh, it's so the movie I don't like to name. I was like, I get it. I see it. I understand. But I'm just like, you know, I'm happy he died, though, in a horrific way. And he deserved it. He really did. But I was kind of hoping Tess would have killed him. I don't know why. I just really wanted Tess to kill him. Like, I felt she earned it. I'm not mad that he died, but I was just like, oh, damn. Like, Tess deserved that kill.
Yeah.
But it made sense, too, that the mother would kill her. Like, that, it made sense. But
I will say that after he dies, like, I get that she shoots the mother, but that whole, the very this directly after he dies, all the remaining footage of the movie, that felt very like rushed. Like, it just felt like it ended very abruptly. I mean, you'll probably appreciate it. It's when you got a deadline and you're editing a video and you know for a fact that the last 5 minutes of that video, you just rush the fuck through it.
I'm not going to put any more clips, memes, anything. It's
right,
done.
I'm done.
You can tell when I am done editing a video. Which,
right,
like,
I did that the other day. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't had a clip in 2 minutes because I want to go to sleep. But like, that's what it felt like. It's. I thought there was going to be like a post-credit sequence because they kept like cutting back to the credits and then cutting back to her walking, but like it didn't go anywhere.
That actually annoyed me because I'm sitting here waiting and I was like, these assholes. I was like, that's smart. That's a dickhead thing to do. But again, I will say it's part of the charm of the film because it still made me like, I'm still talking about the film. I still love the film. And you know, I still wish they would have stuck the landing, no pun intended, a little bit better with that ending. But I have to say, it's been a while since I, you know, got to see a horror film that I just didn't know anything about and just had a wild fucking time watching it. Like, I can't wait to go watch this again because hearing all the things you picked up on that, I'm like, oh, damn, I didn't notice that. But, I mean, moral of the story is, you know, Airbnbs, absolutely not. Or if you do, don't go into the basement, don't go inspecting, and always have your cell phone on you. Always.
Yeah, also be aware of the area that you're booking an Airbnb in.
Yes.
Like, when even the residents are like, what?
I mean, I did like that flashback when you saw the area, but then you see his house just right there. And I'm like, okay.
I also did think it was funny in that flashback when he's talking to the neighbor. And I'm like, so he just got out of the car and he's wearing this jumpsuit. This white man is wearing a jumpsuit that says Carlos.
Oh my God.
Name tag. And he's talking to the neighbor, and the neighbor, like, you can see that the neighbor looks at the outfit multiple times, but never says, like, who is Carlos? Because he calls him by his actual name.
Oh my God, I didn't catch that. But how fascinating.
So there was like that I thought was funny. I did laugh when he was like, the whole neighborhood's going to hell. And I'm like, this beautiful neighborhood that we're looking at, the beautifully like manicured lawns and everything was green. And I also like it almost feels like
that was
the
like
coloring,
picturesque.
right? The
Oh, I
coloring
did
for
love the
that
coloring.
scene was
Yes.
kind of like cranked up a little bit. I like that a lot too.
I really enjoyed it. And man, it takes me back because I'm like, gosh, I wish I lived in that era when, you know, everything like, you know, white picket fences. I don't know why. I love that. But, you know, nope.
Yeah, I mean, putting aside, you know, all the
Yeah.
racism and homophobia.
Of course, yes. I wouldn't be alive. Let's be serious.
But yeah, I mean, it looked beautiful. I liked. There was something else that I was gonna mention that he did. Oh, I liked the point of view shot as he comes out of the grocery store, because I didn't like that's basically when you determined like that he's a bad guy.
Yes.
But like when he's stalking the girl in the parking lot, and then I was like, is he gonna go into her house and kill her? But no, he just goes in there. And there's so many serial killers that used to do this, where they would pose as a worker, like a maintenance worker or something, and go into your house, not to kill you right away, but to unlock the window to give them an in later on. And that's why people, if you're renting, never rent an apartment on the first floor. Never. Make them bitches climb. They need to work for it if they're gonna murder you. Okay, climb like Spider-Man. No, will not do that.
So, as you can tell, we enjoyed the film. I would recommend if you watched this and you haven't seen the movie, still go see it because it's really good. I had so much fun. But also, sorry we spoiled it. I mean, actually, I'm not, but
I'm not. After the first 3 minutes, if you continue, it's your own fault.
yes. But you know what? It's as always, it was fun having you on. Can't wait. We're gonna have more. Trust us, because you know we just love getting rotted. Maybe you know what? We'll just have like a Halloween special, like actual like the Halloween movie special. And I just feel we'll just, you know, invite you to the party. Invite
oh my
George.
God. Any episode you ever do about Halloween, I better be on it.
You know what? We'll do Season of the Witch. Just kidding. We will not.
I love Season of the Witch.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I literally tomorrow I have a recording for another channel where we're discussing Halloween Resurrection. So that'll be fun.
Yes.
But yeah, with Barbarian. Love this movie.
But thank you. And hey, where can everybody find you?
The corner, the alley, your local bathhouse. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me on YouTube. I have a reaction channel, NickSaysBoo. You could also give me all of your hard-earned money on Patreon, NickSaysBoo. You can follow me on Twitter, NickSaysBoo, and Instagram, NickSaysBoo. And no, I'm just kidding, not OnlyFans. Not yet. We're not there yet.
But yes, check out his Patreon because I can't wait. I am really excited to watch No One Lives. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait. We'll talk more after we stop this. But you all go follow him. Go check out the videos. Actually, if you can, because we kind of did mention this in our new video, go watch his reaction to Inside. And then just know that Zavid recommended that to him, to me, and to other people.
Yes. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I definitely did react to that movie. Wait, did you guys talk about that movie in your most recent thing? Mm-hmm. Okay, I haven't watched it yet.
But it's not out yet. I'm still editing. I have to like, we're doing best kills, y'all, and I have to be careful about what I can show because all the stuff we're talking about is so gory. So I'm just trying to find the best picture that I can. But I'll tell you, it's very filthy too, because yeah, that's us. That's our brand, you know. But anyways, when George isn't here, I don't know how to like wrap it up. So with that being said,
keep it right. Keep it. No, just
kidding. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Patreon. Check out our Twitter. All that good stuff. I'll put links down below. This isn't my. I can do openings. I can't do. Oh, this is bad.
Thank you
Bye.
for watching.
Yes,
Make sure
thank
to
you.
like, comment, subscribe, wash your foreskin, and always wipe from back to front. Bye.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.